The 17 best protein sources for vegans and vegetarian. A typical worry about vegetarian and vegan diets is that they may need adequate protein. Nonetheless, numerous specialists concur that a very much arranged veggie lover or vegetarian diet can give you every one of the supplements you need. All things considered, certain plant food sources contain fundamentally more protein than others. Also, higher protein diets can advance muscle strength, satiety and weight reduction. Here are 17 plant food varieties that contain a high measure of protein per serving. 1. Seitan. Seitan is a mainstream protein hotspot for some veggie lovers and vegetarians. It's produced using gluten, the primary protein in wheat. Dissimilar to numerous soy-based false meats, it takes after the look and surface of meat when cooked. Otherwise called wheat meat or wheat gluten, it contains around 25 grams of protein for each 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. This makes it the most extravagant plant protein source on this rundown. Seitan is likewise a decent wellspring of selenium and contains limited quantities of iron, calcium and phosphorus. You can discover this meat elective in the refrigerated part of most well-being food stores, or make your own adaptation with indispensable wheat gluten utilizing this formula. Seitan can be seared, sautéed and surprisingly barbecued. Consequently, it tends to be handily fused in an assortment of plans. Nonetheless, Seitan ought to be stayed away from by individuals with celiac infection or gluten affectability. Primary concern. Seitan is a false meat produced using wheat gluten. Its high protein content, meat-like surface and adaptability make it a well-known plant-based protein decision among numerous veggie lovers and vegetarians. 2. Tofu, tempeh and edamame. Tofu, tempeh and edamame all start from soybeans. Soybeans are viewed all-in-all wellspring of protein. This implies that they furnish the body with every one of the fundamental amino acids it needs. Edamame are juvenile soybeans with a sweet and marginally verdant taste. They should be steamed or bubbled preceding utilization and can be eaten all alone or added to soups and servings of mixed greens. Tofu is produced using bean curds squeezed together in an interaction like cheesemaking. Tempeh is made by cooking and somewhat aging full-grown soybeans before squeezing them into a patty. Tofu doesn't have a lot of taste, yet effectively ingests the kind of the fixings it's pre-arranged with. Similarly, tempeh has a trademark nutty flavor. Both tofu and tempeh can be utilized in an assortment of plans, going from burgers to soups and stews. Each of the three contain iron, calcium and 10 to 19 grams of protein for every 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. Edamame are likewise plentiful in folate, nutrient K and fiber. Tempeh contains a decent measure of probiotics, B nutrients and minerals like magnesium and phosphorus. Primary concern. Tofu, tempeh and edamame all start from soybeans, a total wellspring of protein. They additionally contain great measures of a few different supplements and can be utilized in an assortment of plans. 3. Lentils. At 18 grams of protein for every cooked cup, 240 milliliters, lentils are an incredible wellspring of protein. They can be utilized in an assortment of dishes, going from new plates of mixed greens to good soups and zest-implanted dals. Lentils likewise contain great measures of gradually processed carbs, and a solitary cup, 240 milliliters, gives roughly half of your suggested everyday fiber admission. Besides, the sort of fiber found in lentils has been displayed to take care of the great microbes in your colon, advancing a solid gut. Lentils may likewise assist with decreasing the danger of coronary illness, diabetes, abundance body weight and a few sorts of malignancy. Moreover, lentils are wealthy in folate, manganese and iron. They additionally contain a decent measure of cancer prevention agents and other well-being advancing plant compounds. Main concern. Lentils are healthful forces to be reckoned with. They are wealthy in protein and contain great measures of different supplements. They may likewise assist with decreasing the danger of different sicknesses. 4. Chickpeas and most varieties of beans. kidney, dark, pinto and most different assortments of beans contain high measures of protein per serving. Chickpeas, otherwise called garbanzo beans, are another vegetable with a high protein content. The two beans and chickpeas contain around 15 grams of protein for each cooked cup, 240 milliliters. They are likewise astounding wellsprings of complex carbs, fiber, iron, folate, phosphorus, potassium, manganese and a few advantageous plant compounds. Also, a few examinations show that an eating routine wealthy in beans and different vegetables can diminish cholesterol, assist with controlling glucose levels, lower circulatory strain and even decrease midsection fat. Add beans to your eating routine by making a delectable bowl of natively constructed stew, or appreciate additional medical advantages by sprinkling a scramble of turmeric on cooked chickpeas. Primary concern. Beans are well-being advancing, protein-pressed vegetables that contain an assortment of nutrients, minerals and useful plant compounds. 5. Nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is a deactivated strain of Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast, sold financially as a yellow powder or pieces. It's anything but a messy flavor, which makes it a well-known fixing in dishes like pureed potatoes and mixed tofu. Wholesome yeast can likewise be sprinkled on top of pasta dishes or even appreciated as a flavorful fixing on popcorn. This total wellspring of plant protein gives the body 14 grams of protein and 7 grams of fiber for each ounce, 28 grams. Strengthened wholesome yeast is additionally a phenomenal wellspring of zinc, magnesium, copper, manganese and all the B nutrients, including B12. Be that as it may, Stronghold is an all-inclusive and unfortified nourishing yeast ought not be depended on as a wellspring of nutrient B12. You can buy wholesome yeast on the web. Primary concern. Nutritional yeast is a famous plant-based fixing regularly used to give dishes a without dairy cheddar flavor. It is high in protein, fiber and is regularly strengthened with different supplements, including nutrient B12. 6. Spelt and Tef. Spelt and Tef have a place with a classification known as old grains. Other old grains incorporate einkorn, grain, sorghum and farro. Spelt is a kind of wheat and contains gluten, though Tef begins from a yearly grass, which implies it's without gluten. Spelt and Tef give 10 to 11 grams of protein for every cooked cup, 240 milliliters, making them higher in protein than other old grains. Both are astounding wellsprings of different supplements, including complex carbs, fiber, iron, magnesium, phosphorus and manganese. They additionally contain great measures of B nutrients, zinc and selenium. Spelt and Tef are flexible options in contrast to normal grains, like wheat and rice, and can be utilized in numerous plans going from prepared products to polenta and risotto. You can buy Spelt and Tef on the web. Main concern. Spelt and Tef are high-protein antiquated grains. They're an extraordinary wellspring of different nutrients and minerals and an intriguing option in contrast to more normal grains. 7. Hemp seed. Hemp seed comes from the cannabis sativa plant, which is infamous for having a place with a similar family as the weed plant. Yet, hemp seed contains just follow measures of THC, the compound that creates the weed-like medication impacts. Albeit not also known as different seeds, hemp seed contains 10 grams of complete, effectively absorbable protein per ounce, 28 grams. That is half more than chia seeds and flax seeds. Hemp seed additionally contains a decent measure of magnesium, iron, calcium, zinc and selenium. In addition, it's a decent wellspring of omega-3 and omega-6 unsaturated fats in the proportion considered ideal for human well-being. Curiously, a few investigations show that the sort of fats found in hemp seed may assist with lessening aggravation, just as decrease indications of PMS, menopause and certain skin illnesses. You can add hemp seed to your eating regimen by sprinkling some in your smoothie or morning muesli. It can likewise be utilized in handcrafted salad dressings or protein bars. Buy hemp seed on the web. Primary concern. Hemp seed contains a decent measure of complete, profoundly edible protein, just as well-being advancing fundamental unsaturated fats in a proportion ideal for human well-being. 8. Green peas. The little green peas regularly filled in as a side dish contain 9 grams of protein for each cooked cup, 240 milliliters, which is marginally in excess of some milk. Also, a serving of green peas covers over 25% of your day-by-day fiber, nutrient A, C, K, thiamine, folate and manganese prerequisites. Green peas are likewise a decent wellspring of iron, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, copper and a few other B nutrients. You can utilize peas in plans, for example, pea and basil stuffed ravioli, Thai-motivated pea soup or pea and avocado guacamole. Primary concern. Green peas are high in protein, nutrients and minerals and can be utilized as something beyond a side dish. 9. Spirulina. This blue-green growth is unquestionably a dietary force to be reckoned with. 2 tablespoons, 30 milliliters, furnish you with 8 grams of complete protein, as well as covering 22% of your day-by-day necessities of iron and thiamine and 42% of your everyday copper needs. Spirulina additionally contains nice measures of magnesium, riboflavin, manganese, potassium and modest quantities of the majority of different supplements your body needs, including fundamental unsaturated fats. Phycocyanin, a characteristic color found in spirulina, seems to have amazing cell reinforcement, calming and against malignant growth properties. Besides, considers interface burning through spirulina to medical advantages, going from a more grounded resistant framework and diminished circulatory strain to further developed glucose and cholesterol levels. You can buy spirulina on the web. Main concern. Spirulina is a nutritious high-protein food with numerous useful well-being upgrading properties. 10. Amaranth and quinoa. Albeit frequently alluded to as antiquated or without gluten grains, amaranth and quinoa don't develop from grasses like other oat grains do. Therefore, they're actually considered pseudo-cereals. By and by, they can be ready or ground into flours like all the more regularly known grains. Amaranth and quinoa give 8 to 9 grams of protein for each cooked cup, 240 milliliters, and are finished wellsprings of protein, which is uncommon among grains and pseudo-cereals. Additionally, amaranth and quinoa are acceptable wellsprings of complex carbs, fiber, iron, manganese, phosphorus and magnesium. Primary concern. Amaranth and quinoa are pseudo-cereals that furnish you with a total wellspring of protein. They can be ready and eaten like customary grains like wheat and rice. 11. Ezekiel bread and other breads made from sprouted grains. Ezekiel bread is produced using natural, grown entire grains and vegetables. These incorporate wheat, millet, grain and spelt, just as soybeans and lentils. 2 cuts of Ezekiel bread contain around 8 grams of protein, which is somewhat more than the normal bread. Growing grains and vegetables builds the measure of solid supplements they contain and diminishes the measure of enemies of supplements in them. Likewise, examines show that growing expands their amino-corrosive substance. Lysine is the restricting amino-corrosive in numerous plants, and growing expands the lysine content. This aids support the general protein quality. Additionally, joining grains with vegetables could additionally work on the bread's amino-corrosive profile. Growing likewise appears to expand the bread's solvent fiber, folate, nutrient C, nutrient E and beta-carotene content. It might likewise somewhat decrease the gluten content, which can improve processing in those delicate to gluten. Main concern. Ezekiel and different breads produced using GRU grains have an improved protein and supplement profile, contrasted with more conventional breads. 12. Soy milk. Milk that is produced using soybeans and sustained with nutrients and minerals is an incredible choice to cow's milk. In addition to the fact that it contains 7 grams of protein for every cup, 240 milliliters. But on the other hand, it's a great wellspring of calcium, nutrient D and nutrient B12. Notwithstanding, remember that soy milk and soybeans don't normally contain nutrient B12, so picking a sustained assortment is suggested. Soy milk is found in many general stores. An unbelievably adaptable item can be burned through all alone or in an assortment of cooking and preparing plans. It's anything but a smart thought to settle on unsweetened assortments to downplay the measure of added sugars. Main concern. Soy milk is a high-protein plant choice to cow's milk. A flexible item can be utilized in an assortment of ways. 13. Oats and oatmeal. Oats are a simple and scrumptious approach to add protein to any eating regimen. A large portion of a cup, 120 milliliters, of dry oats furnishes you with around 6 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber. This bit additionally contains great measures of magnesium, zinc, phosphorus and folate. Despite the fact that oats are not viewed as a total protein, they do contain better protein than other generally burned through grains like rice and wheat. You can utilize oats in an assortment of plans going from cereal to veggie burgers. They can likewise be ground into flour and utilized for heating. Primary concern. Oats are nutritious as well as a simple and flavorful approach to consolidate plant protein into a veggie lover or vegan diet. 14. Wild rice. Wild rice contains around 1.5 occasions as much protein as other long-grain rice assortments, including earthy colored rice and basmati. 1 cooked cup, 240 milliliters, gives 7 grams of protein, notwithstanding a decent measure of fiber, manganese, magnesium, copper, phosphorus and B nutrients. In contrast to white rice, wild rice isn't deprived of its wheat. This is extraordinary according to a wholesome point of view, as grain contains fiber and a lot of nutrients and minerals. Nonetheless, this causes worries about arsenic, which can gather in the grain of rice crops filled in dirtied regions. Arsenic is a poisonous minor component that may bring about different medical issues, particularly when ingested consistently for extensive stretches of time. Washing wild rice prior to cooking and utilizing a lot of water to bubble it might decrease the arsenic content by up to 57%. Primary concern. Wild rice is a scrumptious, supplement-rich plant wellspring of protein. Those depending on wild rice as a food staple should avoid potential risk to lessen its arsenic content. 15. Chia seeds. Chia seeds are gotten from the Salvia hispanica plant, which is local to Mexico and Guatemala. At 6 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber for each 1.25 ounces, 35 grams, chia seeds unquestionably merit their spot on this rundown. Furthermore, these little seeds contain a decent measure of iron, calcium, selenium and magnesium, just as omega-3 unsaturated fats, cell reinforcements and different other gainful plant compounds. They're additionally unimaginably adaptable. Chia seeds have a dull taste and can retain water, transforming into a gel-like substance. This makes them a simple expansion to an assortment of plans, going from smoothies to prepared products and chia puddings. Main concern. Chia seeds are a flexible wellspring of plant protein. They additionally contain an assortment of nutrients, minerals, cancer prevention agents and other well-being advancing mixtures. 16. Nuts, nut butters and other seeds. Nuts, seeds and their inferred items are incredible wellsprings of protein. 1 ounce, 28 grams, contains between 5 to 7 grams of protein, contingent upon the nut and seed assortment. Nuts and seeds are additionally extraordinary wellsprings of fiber and solid fats, notwithstanding iron, calcium, magnesium, selenium, phosphorus, nutrient E and certain B nutrients. They additionally contain cell reinforcements, among other valuable plant compounds. While picking which nuts and seeds to purchase, remember that whitening and simmering may harm the supplements in nuts. So go after crude, unblanched variants at whatever point conceivable. Additionally, have a go at settling on regular nut margarines to keep away from the oil, sugar and overabundant salt frequently added to numerous family brand assortments. Primary concern. Nuts, seeds and their margarines are a simple method to add plant protein, nutrients and minerals to your eating regimen. Pick to burn through them crude, unblanched and with no different added substances to augment their supplement content. 17. Protein-rich fruits and vegetables. All foods grown from the ground contain protein, however the sums are typically little. Be that as it may, some contain more than others. Vegetables with the most protein incorporate broccoli, spinach, asparagus, artichokes, potatoes, yams and Brussels sprouts. They contain around 4 to 5 grams of protein for every cooked cup. Albeit in fact a grain, sweet corn is a typical food that contains probably as much protein as these high-protein vegetables. New natural products by and large have a lower protein content than vegetables. Those containing the most incorporate guava, cherimoyas, mulberries, blackberries, nectarines and bananas, which have around 2 to 4 grams of protein for each cup. Primary concern. Certain foods grown from the ground contain more protein than others. Remember them for your suppers to build your everyday protein admission. Bring home message. Protein lacks among veggie lovers and vegetarians are a long way from being the standard. Regardless, a few group might be keen on expanding their plant protein admission for an assortment of reasons. This list can be utilized as an aid for anybody keen on fusing more plant-based proteins into their eating routine.